Hi, team. Welcome to the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. What's the deal with Strongholds, you ask? Well, we'll tell you tonight. But first, some SWTOR and Guild news. Our broadcast aspect today is EPC 194, whose Stronghold will pretty much be this escape pod for the foreseeable future. Decorate away, little buddy. With me, as always, is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hey Max, actually going pretty well. I'm way ahead of myself on Conquest. In fact, I'm almost done with it for the week, which I was planning ahead because I'm going to be away during towards the end of the week. But yes, so Conquest I finished on two characters, and my third one, when I log her in, she'll be done. And then I have a fourth one going that's halfway done. So I'm I'm yes, very efficiently doing Conquest this week. That's because of the crafting, I have to say.
Now, you crafted components so that you could just start crafting war supplies. Are you just crafting war supplies, or you're also doing invasion forces?
So I'm just doing war supplies except for the character that I mentioned that's half done had a bunch of invasion forces queued from the last time we had a crafting conquest, and I logged her in today. So she got credit for one invasion force, but then all the other invasion forces counted as
A
war
war supply.
supplies. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that accumulated enough so that she's halfway there, oh, a little over halfway there now. And on my basically my main character, my merc, she didn't have a crafting skill, so I dropped slicing on her and picked up something, cybertech, I think. And so I was making components, it was also leveling up her cybertech. So now she can participate in conquest much more easily because she has a craft.
Yeah.
And slicing was just annoying me anyway because I would go out scavenging because she has scavenging and archaeology, and then slicing on top of that. It was just so many nodes, can never get anywhere.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, but yeah, so my command rank is kind of moving along. I'm up to like the mid 230s right now, and I'm finding that for me and my playstyle is working out pretty well. That I just, it just happens as it happens. And I think what's kind of taken the heat off for me is the fact that when we do ops, stuff drop from the bosses now. So with that together with getting command experience as it comes, I'm just pretty happy with the pace being whatever it turns out to be. So that's working out pretty well for me. I do like to have a boost on those. So tonight I forgot to do that. Oh, tonight in MFN, I wanted to say too, we had a great time in Dread Palace, I thought, and we had to learn new fights for a number of people, they were new fights, and we wiped one, two, three times on Calpheus, but each time we came back, we got further and learned a new thing that we weren't doing right. And then the last time, of course, is like finding your car keys the last place you look. But the last time we did it, we killed him. So that's kind of my favorite thing to do in ops is where you learn a little bit, you get a little bit further, you learn a bit, you get a little bit further, and finally you win. And
Yeah.
that's one of the options. That's one of the awesome things about doing ops for me, anyway. So yeah, it's been a cool week so far. How about for you, Max?
Same on all fronts. I am not as far ahead on the crafting stuff, but I was on conference calls for work earlier, and I took my Sork, which is my gathering character, out. And I forgot that you needed grade 8 and grade 9 materials. So I was looking, I think I have like almost 2,000 of all the grade 9 materials for for like scavenging, and only a couple hundred of the grade 8. So that doesn't really help me too much. Well, I'm sure I have enough to get. I think actually I've got like 400 of the grade 8 each. So that'll be enough to get conquest done on at least a couple characters. But
Yeah,
I will need to queue up all my stuff.
I was amazed to find that I had enough mats to just do everything I wanted to do. I had to go and buy the white vendor things, and I had to buy a lot of those, but
Yes,
I just turn away and I don't look at how much that costs when I do it.
that's the biggest challenge is the white material, the white vendor crafting material. You can run missions to get those, but you only get 8 or 16, and when we need hundreds to get through this week, that's a little bit annoying.
Effort. Yes. Effort and patience.
And you were right about having fun in Dread Fortress. I do, or Dread Palace. We went to
Alice.
Dread Palace because the other group did Dread Fortress last night, I think, our Monday night ops
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
So we did Dread Palace. We did have a bunch of people in there that had never done it before. So I told all the stories of the Dread Masters and why we are all terrible people because we released them on Belsavis and what they're doing. And yeah, that Calpheus fight is a tough one to explain. And we were running low on time, so I didn't go through all the explanations of what goes on in the phases. In fact, I've done that thing about 100 times, but I almost always have done the
The
past,
past.
which is the blue circle. And so I had to go in and because we needed some extra DPS in the future, and I had to figure it out. So there was that too. But I didn't want to spend the usual 15 minutes explaining that fight, so I gave the brief explanation, and then we went in there and we did wipe a couple times because people were figuring out which crystal you got to shoot, and oh, that's the white circle around it, and that's what that means, and yada yada yada. But that worked out, and yeah, and we blew them up. I also did PvP GSF, and I'm finding, especially doing the weeklies on those, you get a bunch of the unassembled components, which is the currency that you use from PvP to buy the gear tokens, to buy, sort of like the IOCath or the 242 or the 236 gear pieces that you then turn into the vendor to get your actual gear piece. I'm getting enough unassembled components that I think where I'm at with my gear on my character, I'm probably going to end up filling in the rest of my slots that need to be upgraded above 240, which is only a couple left now, or 242 to 246, 248 with PvP tokens, because the odds of getting, filling. I think I need my legs, boots upgraded. My legs, boots, bracers could be upgraded from 242, and then an implant. And the odds of getting those before I get enough unassembled pieces from PvP is low. So I bet I'm just going to keep doing the PvP and filling in the slots that way, which is by design. So great. Good thing to know. It is a little bit of a challenge because the only things that you can upgrade are the gold pieces. So like I had 240 relic that I wanted to upgrade, and I had to go back because I had a 236 version of that relic, which is the legendary version. The 236, and I upgraded to 242, and then take the 242 and upgrade it to 248. My 240 would not upgrade, for example. So that's that. I don't know why that works that way. Like if I've got 240 piece, why can't I turn that in to get a 246 or 248 or whatever?
It's a mystery wrapped in a conundrum.
It is. But we'll have a note on one of the updates that came in the roadmap that talked about slots in the news, which I think we could talk about now.
Now an Imperial News Network report.
First up in the news, there is a post in the dev tracker, if you check, about Windows 10 Creators Edition update, which is the most recent sort of service pack of Windows 10 that has come out in the past couple weeks. It's been out for a few weeks, but not everybody has had it. It's slowly rolling out, so you may still not even have it, and depending on the setup of your computer and the stage that they're at in rolling it out to you. But if you have it, you may have noticed a problem, and a lot of people are running into it now, where you start SWTOR, you get to the character screen, and you want to click anything. You want to click play, but clicking anything will crash the client, and it just crashes. And you can try it over and over and over again, and it starts to get frustrating. Eric posted in the dev tracker a couple possible workarounds, couple possible fixes. They are looking at it. They do understand that this is a problem, and they will fix it. My favorite way to fix it, because it happens to me every time, my favorite way to fix it is to have the client in windowed mode, and then when the character screen comes up, do an Alt-Enter to switch to full screen mode, windowed full screen, and then click play. Once I click play, I can go back and forth between window and full screen. I can do whatever I want. I can drag it between my various monitors. It's fine. But that's what I need to do. You run into the same thing, Seema, haven't you?
Right, and I was doing a similar thing to fix it, or what also would work for me is if I would fiddle with the graphics before I logged out and then I could get back in the next time. But now what I'm doing, it kind of sounds like hocus pocus. But now what I'm doing is I just play in windowed mode right now, and I don't have the any part of the SWTOR window touching any windows, like it doesn't touch the taskbar or any Windows bits and bobs. And so that has worked for me for the last 3 or 4 or 5 times I've logged in to just leave it that way. What was
Interesting.
what was working for me before is it didn't matter. I didn't have to go from windowed to non-windowed or full screen window or whatever. Just go from anything to anything, and then I could log in, finish logging in, or log in a character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's kind of you have to find what works for you. What Eric suggests seems like it might work too, like disable VSync on your video card, disable game mode in Windows, which I don't even know what that is, but I might have it already disabled. I don't know.
Control
And then
G
also,
opens the game bar, and if you type in game mode in your start menu, you can open it's sort of like, I think it's called Xbox, but it'll explain game mode in there, which skews performance of your machine to be better for the game.
oh, I see.
But I did that. I disabled game mode, and that didn't help me in particular. So
And then this last one in Windows, disable the full screen optimization option for SWTOR.
I don't know what that one is. What is full screen optimization
I don't know
option
either,
for?
but it
Oh,
sounds
in
like something
Windows. That's
that
probably another thing in the.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
they all kind of sound the same. Like do this Windows games SWTOR Windows. You know, it's like it's just gonna take some playing around to see what works for you if
Yeah.
you're having this problem.
Yep.
And like you said, it's only if you've updated to Windows 10 Creator Update or whatever it's called. And I was gonna procrastinate it, but then instead I went ahead and did it anyway because, you know, trying not to procrastinate crap as quite as much as I tend to do. And so I have it now.
Excellent. What else is in the news?
Also in the news, let's see. Oh yeah, so we had some posts from Charles this week, and Max and I were saying before we started tonight that with Keith posting and Charles posting and Eric posting, now when I read a post from BioWare, I have to actually look and see who posted it, and it can't just assume everything is Eric anymore. It's kind of cool. But yeah, he
Crazy.
posted a little thing today about how to justify how he thinks about or possible ways to justify a Sith pure blood Inquisitor. And the question refers to the fact that the Inquisitor storyline, you start out as a slave, and how do you justify a Sith pureblood slave? So he had a couple ideas about that, which was pretty interesting. And he said he would be posting more often. An earlier post he made was to respond to the issue of how come we can't customize our weapons with the outfit designer. And he said it's mainly a question of prioritization and the amount of effort in how do they prioritize that. But it sounded like this year in particular they're going to be slightly higher prioritizing sort of gameplay world issues, which I would be for that. I'd be up for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that did seem interesting. And it does seem interesting that he's posting. And I buy his story lore, which yeah, I would expect that I would because that's
Pretty good
his
at it.
deal. That's what he does. Yeah, I buy his storyline on Sith pureblood Inquisitor and how they could be a slave and how that could work out. So I think it'd be pretty amusing if people continued to post sort of like their headcanon stories of their characters and got tips from Charles on how to tweak their stories and fan fiction and things like that. That would be pretty amusing. Also in the notes from Keith this time, let's see if you're right. We've got all these new names popping up in the dev tracker. It's amazing. He did post a clarification, and we actually debated this in Guild last week, a couple times during the week, on claiming that when he mentioned that there would be a vendor where you could use the what is the name of the currency? There's too many currencies. You could use command tokens, the command token currency. You can buy straight up to buy tier 1 gear when they put in the new vendor, right? His comment was a clarification in the dev tracker that will be for all tier 1 slots that you can buy with straight up command tokens, not just set bonus gear. Because he did say set gear when he made that comment, and that's what caused us to debate it. He did clarify that it'll be all slots. So every single slot, you'll be able to use straight up command token currency out of your currency tab to get implants and earpieces and relics and everything at that 230 level, which is exactly what I think we need. So that's great.
Cool.
Guild and community news. Plenty of stuff going on along the lines of what the influencers are doing, and I meant to try to gather up some notes across the community. I know there have been a couple new influencers that have been added. I would encourage everyone, especially in this, over the course of the past week, there's been a lot of content created that's been part of this Twitch Prime promotion. It's a good time to be a fan of Star Wars, The Old Republic fan content. So go ahead and check that out. What about guild stuff, Seema?
Just wanted to let everyone know that MFN next week will be on the pub side. So we're following that order pretty religiously, thanks to Apple's keeping us honest. This week, I mentioned a little bit earlier about Conquest. It's total galactic war. On the M side, we're invading Alderaan, and I want to say on pub side, we're also invading Alderaan, but I did not check. I forgot to check beforehand.
Hoth. I think Hoth on both of them because it had the most bonuses.
Oh, is it Hoth? Okay. So notable repeatable things this week are crafting, but not invasion forces. Invasion forces are still only once. Group finder flashpoints and ops, and war zones, and GSF. And then, of course, the normal stuff. The normal stuff is all one time.
Look at us. AIE number 2 and number 4 on the Hoth board right now. We won't be number 1 because there's a big guild up there knocking down some
we're on
millions
Hoth.
points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Hoth, yeah, number 2 and number 4. Woo-wee. Woo-wee, that's looking good. All right.
Of course, we're like 2 million below the number 1.
Yeah. Well, we're not. We don't. That's not how we roll.
Right.
I didn't want to win that planet anyway.
I mean, if you're in AIE and SWTOR and you're listening to us, the message is not go out and use up all your resources for Conquest this week. It's just to let you know that this is a crafting week, and if you want to make your personal target, it's one of the easier weeks.
Yes, we are not out there to win the planet. We are out there to get on the board, so you get a little extra bonus, and ensure that everyone can get their personal target on whatever characters they're trying to get it on. And in fact, we'll do the thing like where if you need to create an invasion force, we'll have some of the extras of the war supplies in the guild bank, so you can trade in and out for the war supplies that maybe you don't have a crafter that makes, the crystal capacitors, for example. So you can look forward to that. And if you are not in AIE on Jedi Covenant and would like to be, that can be arranged. Come visit us on Jedi Covenant. Jump into chat, do a /cjoin AIE LFO on the Republic or the Imperial sides, and we'll get you set up. You can also check out our big guild site, which is aie-guild.org, and that's for AIE, the big AIE, which crosses a whole bunch of games. But if you go to aie-guild.org/SWTOR, you'll get to our Star Wars specific stuff and what we've got going on there. In fact, you could probably even get to the Discord information, jump in Discord and chat with us at all hours of the day. So that is cool. Shout out to the chat room. Thank you, everyone. I see we got a pretty good crowd in there. Had some good commentary. I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube or live. I made up a little bit of a new overlay this week. I don't know why I got bored last night and and did this, but I I created an animated GIF for the background, which is actually, you can see just little glimpses there of Iocath and some of the Eternal Fleet flying by. And then I made some new, more cleaned up, simplified views of the windows. So comment in our on YouTube or drop me comments in Twitter or Discord and let me know if this looks cool or not and suggestions you have to change it. Like we were debating before the show whether we should still have like the text up here or is that redundant. But it was a fun little exercise. I was pretty pleased with how it came out with these little drop shadows and stuff. Felt pretty pleased with myself. So thanks, chat room, and I will catch up with you all after. But now we can talk about Strongholds.
You are a powerful figure on the galactic stage. Powerful figures attract powerful enemies. Shield yourself from your enemies. Broaden your sphere of influence. Wield your prosperity as a weapon. Accomplish all of this and more with Strongholds.
Strongholds. So this is a repeat for us. We did talk a little bit about Strongholds, but it was July of 2014, so I think it's okay.
It was a while ago.
For us to talk about it again. I have the dates of every time and every topic we talked about on every date and all of the notes. But yeah, I thought it came to mind because a couple people have been talking about decorating their strongholds. It also came to mind because of Conquest, and we'll talk a little bit about how strongholds impact Conquest. And the third reason it came to mind is I was thinking about what might be coming this year. And I think there might be rumors in data mining, but I did not. I don't keep track of the data mining news, and I don't even know at this point. I thought there was rumors that there was a new stronghold being created or some evidence of it coming from data mining, but I have no idea. So we'll just get to do some free speculation of if we think they'll add one, and if they do, how we think where that will show up. But we will talk about strongholds in general. And I think one of the places to start is how you get strongholds and why they're interesting. How many strongholds do you have, Seema?
I have 4.
You have 4, and I have 4. I thought we had I have 5. So I went and unlocked all 5 and brought the 5th one back. Did you not bring the 5th one back?
No, I just have 4.
So when strongholds were first introduced, they introduced 4, and it was Coruscant and Dromakas, and then it was Tatooine. No, maybe it wasn't even. Maybe it took a little bit for them to get Tatooine. I think it was Coruscant, Dromakas, and Nar Shaddaa, and then they added Tatooine. When it also first started, you could only have 4. So when they added Yavin 4, which is the stronghold that we're in right now, you had to deactivate one of your other strongholds. So I guess to kick it off, in fact, I'll go here to the fleet. Where do you get your strongholds? You got to go to the section of the fleet that has the strongholds available, and you can then pay to unlock the strongholds at the little consoles there in the stronghold quadrant of the fleet. That's a good area of the fleet to keep an eye on if you're dealing with or thinking about strongholds at all, because there's a bunch of things there. When we start talking about decorations, there's some of the key decorations vendors there. There's some of the vendors where you can turn in prefabs, which are crafted to get some of the crafted decorations. And then there's some of the vendors where you use credits and space mission tokens to buy some of the old decorations as well. So it's down here in the stronghold corner. There's a couple boards where you can look and click to unlock a stronghold if you don't have it, and then see the public listings of those strongholds for who has the highest quote-unquote prestige, which is all of the points that they've accumulated for unlocking and collecting different kinds of decorations out of cartel packs and whatnot. But you click on one of these and you unlock your strongholds. Now, depending on when you started and what bonuses you had and what pre-orders you did, you might get Dromakas and Coruscant for free, basically. But you might have to pay, especially like for Yavin. If you don't have a Yavin yet, you might have to pay some credits, and it might be significant, right, to buy it. Here's tip number one, secret number one. There is a benefit to unlocking strongholds with cartel coins, and this is it. It deals with that original issue of only allowing 4 strongholds and having to deactivate a stronghold to add the new one in. So when Yavin first came along and I had Coruscant, Dromakas, Tatooine, and Nar Shaddaa, I deactivated I deactivated Dromakas and I activated Yavin 4, right? When I went back to reactivate Dromakas, I had to pay credits again, and this is how you reactivate them. You have to pay credits again to reactivate it. If you deactivate it with cartel coins, you don't have to pay cartel coins again. You get to reactivate it for free. Right now, there are only 5 strongholds, and you can have 5 strongholds. There's 5 slots available. If they add another one later this year, who knows? They may only keep the 5 slots, and they said they did that originally to limit it to 4 for performance reasons. They may only keep the 5 slots, and you may again need to deactivate one stronghold, and in order to reactivate one of your new strongholds, wherever the new stronghold might be. So, if you activate any new stronghold like Yavin with cartel coins, if you happen to have them, you'll get to reactivate that for free if you ever want to switch them back out in the future. Did that all make sense, Seema? That was a little bit long-winded.
No, it made perfect sense.
Did you activate with credits or cartel coins?
I probably activated with credits because that's my go-to.
I think I did too, and it was before we sort of thought up this secret.
Yeah.
So
before we were sophisticated. Yeah, I mean, Dromakas and Coruscant are really kind of 2 of my favorites, and they are super cheap, very affordable.
Yeah. When you first unlock a stronghold, you're only unlocking the core of the stronghold. If you deactivate and reactivate, you'll unlock also everything that you unlocked within that stronghold stays unlocked. So that's a bonus.
Oh, good.
That's good to know. So you could probably reactivate whichever one of the 4 that you didn't activate, Seema. There's the little page 1 and page 2 down at the bottom, just to be sure that you don't have it hidden there. A couple other things on the fleet while I'm here. These public listings of the strongholds do allow you to travel to other people's strongholds that are publicly listed. You can, from your stronghold window, if you hit U, you're bringing up your strongholds pane. You can publicly list your strongholds or keep them private, so you can only invite visitors manually. I invited Seema to my stronghold, but my Yavin stronghold is a public one. So if you go to the board, you could potentially find my stronghold for Yavin 4, and in the listing you could find Max down here somewhere. I think it's Max's Chamber of Deception is what I call mine. Is there a search? I don't know how you find. You find it. Is it only people who are on right now? So there's Arvashette. He's got a pretty high prestige. Oh, here's mine, Max's Chamber of Deception. So from there, you could just click travel, and you would come to my stronghold. So this is good if you want to go to like these people that have a ton of prestige, because they have a lot of unique decorations. It's fun to go look around and look at their decorations. Also, here on the fleet, there are some vendors. So Clem Stato and Meridot Stato are 2 vendors here where you can buy a bunch of basic decorations with credits. There's another vendor that you get in your stronghold, and everyone gets one as soon as you start unlocking strongholds, called Faluzia Stato. That must be the Stato family. That has decorations within your stronghold that you can buy, and there's some interesting ones in there. So that's a good place to look for decorations, especially because they're relatively cheap. You could buy enough of them, like here, these basic civilian tables. If you want a stack of 50 of them or 100 of them because you need a whole bunch of them to to get your strongholds to 100% completion, and we'll talk about why that's important in just a bit. But you can get cheap decorations from these vendors. Also, on the other side here on the fleet, there are some of the prefab vendors. So this is a good place you can talk to these droids and turn in prefabs as currency and get a bunch of decorations, some pretty nice ones with prefabs. Prefabs are crafted. So if you have a crafter, you can be crafting prefabs. They're usually relatively complicated and expensive to make because they're taking the blue materials that you get from crew skill missions. But you can create the different types of prefabs, synthetic, industrial, and universals, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, and then turn in those prefabs as currency to buy some of these decorations. These three vendors, the synthetic fabricator droid, the universal fabricator droid, and the industrial fabricator droid, you get a version of those for your stronghold as well. So you can buy these same decorations in your stronghold if you place these vendors. This one, Nekara Faced on the Imperial side, she does the utilities. These you have to come to the fleet and talk to her to get them, but these are very useful. So this is like if you want a GTN to stick in your stronghold, the wall version or the kiosk version. Here it's three universal prefab MK3s to get a GTN kiosk version. So this is a mod station, the guild bank, the GTNs, extra mailboxes or stronghold or guild strongholds, appearance modification station. That's where you get this stuff, which is really useful. And last but not least, down here on the outer ring in the corner is the PvP vendor, where you can, with credits now, it used to be with PvP tokens, but those went away as of 5.0. So now it's all with credits. You can buy these PvP decorations with credits. However, most of the PvP decorations have a Valor rank requirement on them. So you can't just buy them for credits if you have never PvP'd. You have to have Valor rank, like here, these ancient Hypergate energy orbs require Valor rank 22. And this one of my favorite, which I will show you, the custom Hutball stand, requires Valor rank 50 and 2 million credits. You can only have one across your legacy anyway, so you're only going to buy it once, but you do need Valor rank 50 to get it. So that is that. So talking. So, Seema, why don't you tell us what the name the strongholds again and what's your favorite?
Okay, so I actually hang out in my Nar Shaddaa one, partially because sometimes I go to Nar Shaddaa, especially when Conquest has Nar Shaddaa heroic missions. But for looks and appearance and everything, I really like the Dromikaz one the best. It's kind of a sleek. It's kind of like how the Agent ship is compared to like the Jedi Knight ship. It's just like sleek and new and very, very Dromikazi. But that's my favorite one. And but I like Dromikaz and Coruscant both because they're entry level. They're easy to get into because they don't cost a lot of credits or cartel coins. In fact, there was a special on recently where you could get them for 5 credits.
Yeah, that was
for the 5-year anniversary. So I went and bought a bunch of them on different servers because I figured next year there would be 6 credits, and I wanted to save that credit.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely right. It's going to go up to 6.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people have Tatooine as their favorite because there's a lot of like outdoor space in Tatooine, and then the Yavin 4 one is really awesome. I just never have gotten around to buying it because I have this feeling like I should decorate the ones I have first. And mine still look like a garage sale threw up in them.
I see. So I like Yavin 4 the best right now. I used to live in Tatooine. That used to be my primary. In fact, I still have the front door, the entryway of Tatooine is one of my favorite decorations, and here I am in it in my stronghold. I've set it up as this elaborate garden, and it's got some pets that are hanging around and a bunch of plants all around it and a fountain. And this is one of my favorite decoration jobs that I did. Lots of these trees that I really like. The other thing that I liked when I first set up Tatooine was this is where I put a collection of all of the different banks and mod station and vendors and mailboxes and a parents mod station all in one little room where I could always get to them. I could stand in one place and click on a GTN, a guild bank, a personal cargo hold, and a mailbox all at the same time, which is useful. But now I mostly live in my Yavin 4 one. That's my favorite, just because it's sort of outside and open, and where you zone in the default entrance to Yavin 4 is a big open area. I did have to sort of dump some stuff off on the side to get my utility, my cargo hold and GTN all set up there and looking good, and because that makes it useful. But I like it this way. I like the outside. I like that the entrance here is out under the open sky, and it's a blue sky with clouds. And
Yeah, I do like the sky.
so I also liked the sort of the theme of Yavin 4 the best of all of them throughout the whole of the stronghold. So this is one that I decorated the whole place. Not super elaborate, but I did do decorations in every area. So let's talk about what I mean by areas. When you first unlock a stronghold, you're only unlocking sort of the core few rooms that make up the basic entrance of the stronghold. And then there will be locked doors. So like here in Yavin 4, at the back of this main entrance chamber would be 2 locked doors for these 2 side hallways. You have to pay additional credits or cartel coins to unlock those areas of the stronghold. So the amount of decorations that you can put in the stronghold and just access to those areas is dependent on you paying those extra credits or cartel coins to unlock those additional areas. So it gives you an opportunity or something to work towards to pay those. I think I unlocked everything with credits. To pay those credits and unlock those additional areas. As you unlock them, then you're also getting additional hooks, which we'll talk about in just a second, which is how you mount decorations in your strongholds. So I unlocked everything. I unlocked these side towers in the back, and was able to unlock enough to get all my hooks available and all my decorations available to decorate the stronghold to 100%. And what does that mean, and why does that matter? So if you decorate your stronghold to the maximum number of hooks that it has available, and let's see, for Yavin 4, that is, does it say here? I can hold 80 players. I can have, that's my prestige. I think it says down here. Yeah. So 750 maximum hooks. So I have decorated 750 out of the possible maximum of 750 hooks here in Yavin 4. So that means Yavin 4 is now decorated to 100%. I can also look, you're here in my bounty hunter room, Seema.
Yeah.
This is where I've got my frozen carbonite dudes
Yes.
hanging on the wall. I've got my restraint cell there. I've got broken droids that I destroyed. My Ziost, or not Ziost, the cool.
Yep. The Sky Troopers.
Sky Troopers. I've got this console here which shows me new bounties to pick up. Sort of amusing. Anyway, getting to 100%. If you get to 100% in all of your strongholds, each stronghold you get to 100% is another 25% bonus to, and it's linear mirrors. If you're at 20% in one, then it's 20% conquest bonus. So since I'm at 100% in 5 strongholds, I have 125% conquest bonus. That means each time I hit one of my conquest targets, I get 125% bonus of the base, the non-multiplied the non-planet multiplied bonus to that conquest target. So
And
here,
since I only have 4 strongholds, I only get 100% bonus.
right, right, which leads me to one of my initial, not criticisms but pain points about this whole 100 versus 125. But here's the math. If I craft an invasion force, it's a base 2,000 points for anybody that crafts an invasion force on Hoth. But I'll get 4,500 if I mathed correctly. I'll get 4,000. I'll get 2,000. I'll get 4,500 conquest points. So that's pretty nice. 125% bonus. When they added the ability to get a 5th stronghold, they said, okay, we're going to push you to 125, so it's not 100, so people don't feel like they're going down. All that told me was if I want to be at the max, which I would of course want to be at the max, then I need to decorate all 5 to 100%, which leads us to which is a bummer, because I wish my stronghold didn't have to be all at 100% to have the maximum bonus.
Right.
Because it's a little bit messy to sometimes decorate your strongholds to 100%. So let's talk about decorations and decorating and the hooks, and then what what your tips and tricks are for getting to 100%. So do you want to walk through what some of the types of decorations are, Seema, to kick it off?
Well,
And what your thoughts are on decorations?
my way of decorating, because my concern was, first of all, my plan was I was going to get to 100% however way I could to get the full conquest bonus, and then I was going to come back later and decorate nicely, but I never came back later and decorated nicely. I'm still planning on that's still in my future. And the way I did that is whenever you kill a boss in Ops, you get a number of posters about it, and you get it for story mode, you get them for in the day it was hard mode and nightmare mode. So I have a lot of posters. And so basically one way that you can get a lot of percentage done easily is to throw up a bunch of posters everywhere. Yes, there's your poster room.
Yes.
Then there's also a number of sort of basic pieces of furniture that you can get very easily. Chairs, beds, and then I have rooms that are all chairs and beds. It's very hard to get around in them.
Yes.
So,
I think I have like 100 chairs on my Tatooine one, like just out in the desert out there. Yeah, but tons of this.
Do you still have the 6 Revan statues?
And Tatooine, yes, I do. But those are by design. I love those things. I'll go back there while we're talking, because I can stand on my balcony. So there's some decorations that are giant, right? And there's different size what they call hooks, where the places you put them. So there's giant ones for these Revan statues that we got probably for Shadow of Revan. I don't know why we got them, but I put them down in off my balcony on Tatooine, so I can look off the balcony and they're all like turned towards the balcony looking at me. I thought that was amusing. But yeah, I've done the same things with the posters in particular. The posters I found to be the easiest one. You said you throw the posters up on the walls. Throw up being the operative term for what it looks like when you need to be regurgitating enough of these things out there to get to 100% in these strongholds. Oh, I have another one down. What's that one? That guy's not a Revan. That's a Naga Sadow.
It makes me think of like the shrubbery attacking you, like in The Shining.
Yeah.
They're like when you go out there next time, are they all just a little bit closer?
Like weeping angels. Yeah. If you turn your back or you blink, then the statues get closer. Exactly. That's how it works. But yeah, so putting the posters up on the wall, I found to be the easiest way to just get a lot of it done really quick. If you're trying to do individual decorations, like you've got some interesting decorations, trying to like put them all over the ground, and it gets really complicated. Whereas you can just click on a wall area, and you get a whole bunch of these little posters. They're called trophies, for completing, like, killing any boss in any flashpoint, any boss in any operation. Take the wall panel, divide up the wall panel into the smallest units. So if you right click on any of your panels, you can switch the layouts to large and small, or all small. Switch it to all small and just put a whole bunch of those little posters up. And doing it that way, you can relatively quickly get to 100% if you've got your available hooks. So if you've unlocked everything, you can relatively quickly get to 100%. And then when you're ready to actually start decorating, then you can take some of those posters down and trade it out for actual decorations you want to place in interesting places. So that's one of my criticisms of that whole 100% thing. I can't place a single decoration in any of my strongholds anymore unless I go find another decoration to take down and then place the new decoration I'm looking for. I also can't go to a stronghold and grab like my GTN and move it to a different stronghold temporarily without filling in the spot that I left, or like putting up another poster in that other stronghold. So I wish there was a buffer that
Even
allowed
if it was
me to...
only, if they would let you go to like 110 or something,
Right.
so that you could, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, exactly. So it counts you at 100%, even though you've only done 90%. Or I could get to 125% with having buffer on all of my strongholds would be great.
I mean, I'd be fine if you had to have 100 to get 100%, but you could place 10 more.
Yeah, yeah, or whatever.
That
Yeah,
would
give
solve it
me
for me, yeah.
right. 750 is 100%, but give me 760 slots.
Yeah.
So what
Because when
about...
I get a new decoration, I want to go place it and see what it looks like, but no, I have to go pick something up first.
And what kind of decorations might those be? So let's talk about the decorations. Kat, you want to? I listed some categories out. So things that are decorations and where they come from. So that they come from achievements, like we said. You get those little trophies and posters. Some achievements, like if you get if you get every Datacron, then
Yeah, there's one for that.
you get a big one, which is actual physical object, not just a poster. You do get decorations from drops. There's some random world drops, like there's individual small Datacrons that you can get from just killing random mobs on each planet, and each of the core original planets has a different Datacron, like the Datacron of hate or whatever, that you can get as a world drop. You also get drops inside of flashpoints, and I think uprisings. Do you get drops? Do you get like off of bosses and uprisings? Did decorations?
I think
right?
so. Yeah.
But definitely flashpoints and definitely operations. We saw a bunch of Datacrons, or a bunch of decorations dropping tonight, didn't we? What was dropping? The holocron of
And dread
fear.
Fear or dread
Fear,
or whatever.
dread. Yeah. So those. Each operation has like a common one that drops randomly throughout the operation, and then like some really nice ones that drop off the bosses. So
then there's ones that come too from events like anniversaries and, just that you get for having been here or hanging around. They typically are on a vendor, or they're oftentimes on a vendor that you can buy for like 1 credit or whatever. I have a lot of sets of 50s of those. Like I have 50 commemorative statues of HK51.
Yeah. So with some of the pre-orders, with some of the bonuses, being subscribed at some particular time, yes, you can get a bunch of those, like big stacks of those weird ones.
And not everything's beautiful too. Like there are wall decorations that are like a hole in the wall or a blaster burn, and there's other decorations that are like a pile of debris.
Right.
So you can go with like whatever theme you really want. And then there's decorations that are like belong in a hut setting, and there's decorations that belong in an imperial setting or a republic setting. I know lots of people that have made a room that was dedicated to being like a medical room, have all kinds of medical looking stuff in there.
Yep.
Colto this and that.
Yeah, I have a med bay here on Yavin, just exactly for that. Because I had the decorations and it's sort of a theme, so might as well. Some of my favorite, and decorations aren't necessarily just static either. So some
yeah.
decorations you can interact with. So I already mentioned some of the vendors that you can place in your strongholds that you get and everyone gets. But here, like in my Yavin stronghold, I have these fire pits, and I can click on the fire pits and light the fire, and then the fire burns. Some fires you can get like this fireplace is always burning. So this is my little party patio. I've got a little beast roasting on the pit here. I have these contraband cartel slot machines, which came way back in one of the packs around the Nar Shaddaa Nightlife event, I think. And the Fallujah SWTOR vendor sells contraband cartel chips, which are tokens you can use to actually activate the slot machine and see if you win something. So there, did I just win something? I received confiscated artwork.
What?
Oh, a rep trophy for the Contraband Resale Corporation, which I'm already legendary with.
Well, there you go.
Here, I have one more chip. Let me put the chip in. Oh, I lost.
Buy more chips.
I think there's still a rare chance of getting a mount out of, like a super rare chance of getting a mount out of these slot machines. Those are very rare, and I don't think you can get them anymore unless you find someone selling them on the GTN, but maybe they'll come back at some point.
Yeah, Windows has got some information for you.
And then one of my favorite decorations that you can interact with is what I mentioned earlier, the custom hut ball stand and the hut ball. And this is basically a game, and I've played this. In fact, my favorite place to put it is like up on top of a tower. And the way this works, where are you, Sima? You're not here anymore. I can't throw the hut ball at
coming.
you. So
I jumped off the side. It sends me back to the beginning.
You click on the hut ball, and when you click on the hut ball, you get a temporary ability. Where is my temporary ability? You need to throw the hut ball on your bar, and then you can throw the hut ball to other people, I think. And whoever holds the hut ball when it turns red and the timer runs out, like hot potato, blows up. So you can see there I had a little bit of a knockback ability. So you basically you can play a game with friends, tossing it back and forth, and whoever blows up loses. And this will lead to one of my secrets that I will talk about in just a minute at the end. I gotta wait for the hut ball to respawn here, Seema, and then I can throw it to you. Do you still have throw the hut ball on your
I
abilities?
put it on a button earlier when you mentioned it, because I kind of knew this was coming.
Max was gonna throw the custom hot ball. There it is. So I need to make a spot for it, and I need to do it quick before Seema realizes that I can't throw it away, and she could pick it up and throw it to me and get me stuck. All right, there, I got it. So there. I see I could just throw it to Seema, but it's still green. Oh, Seema threw it right back to me, but I think Seema threw it a little too early. So I'm going to wait just a sec. Oh, Seema's trying to run away. Did you blow up?
No.
You haven't blown up yet? Is it not red yet?
No, I didn't blow up. Maybe because I was moving.
Oh, maybe you blew up and you didn't notice.
Yeah.
So quick secret tip with the hut ball. When you blow up, you get a little bit of a knockback effect that bumps you into the air. If you're creative and you put the hut ball stand in interesting locations, you can use that knockback effect to get to interesting places in some of the strongholds that you shouldn't normally be able to get to. I have used it to get like up on the cliffs in Tatooine, for example, and up on top, and you get a really good view of the outside of the stronghold, which gets pretty amusing. So you see I'm doing like a little bit of a jump, and we'll see where it blasts me. Blasts back. So there's a tip of how to navigate to weird places in your strongholds, which you shouldn't be able to get to, because it does knock you back. It blows you pretty high in the air. Other things that you can place in your stronghold, just to make the list complete: mounts, pets, and companions. So every mount that you have in your mounts tab and every pet that you have in your pets tab, those can all be placed as decorations in your strongholds. And then every companion, if you're on a character that doesn't own that companion, though, they'll show up as like a hollow version of that companion. But if they're companions that your character has, when you place them, they'll show up as that companion, which I sort of like. That also reminds me, there's plenty of NPCs that you can place in your strongholds too. You can buy Imperial Guards, for example.
And some of them kind of pace.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. So here, I'm going to get back to the beginning of my stronghold, and this is one of my other secret tips too. The easiest way to, and like in Yavin, for example, to get back to the starting point, the entry point of the stronghold, is to jump off something and die.
Yes.
Because you do not incur a repair cost, and you just reappear at the beginning of the stronghold, which is nice. But I have the Kel something Jedi Master here at the entrance to my stronghold, and I have two of these Revanite Vindicators. And if you notice, they sort of pace around a little bit. These guys just sort of turn back and forth and pace a little bit, and then my Jedi Master here paces back and forth like he's guarding the Keldor Jedi Master. Those kinds of NPCs I really like, and I find amusing. And I've had on my Wall of Crazy wish list for NPCs like that to do a lot more things in the future. And I think they could really make the strongholds a more dynamic and interesting place. Like, what
is
if...
there still a...
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, is there still a limit to the number of pets / NPCs that you can place? Remember how when it first started out, you could only place, I think, it was 10 or something like that, and then they moved it to 50.
I think they did bump it up. I don't know if it still exists. It may still exist at some level, but they did do some performance improvements on NPCs and pets and mounts so that you could place a whole bunch more. Look, I got this Jalo. Oh, he came from... I forgot what Jalo was from. But he's sweeping. Oh, he's from the he's from the bonus chapter when you get HK55.
Oh,
because he's the blind guy that was sweeping the shrouds. Was the janitor at the shroud compound.
He's very intent on sweeping.
Because that's his deal. He sweeps. He's the one who sweeps.
He doesn't bar the way, he sweeps.
I've got a Knight of Zakul that paces back and forth too. Over there on the side, you can see one of my this comes from I think Space Mission vanilla Space Mission tokens. I bought this, which is actually a model of a GSF ship, the Scout, the Sting on the Imperial side. You get it from the regular Space Mission tokens, though, I believe. And here you can see an example of just some debris, which adds a little bit of character, I felt, to this area of the outside of my stronghold. You don't even notice it when the hooks are off. So we won't get into to all the instructions on details on hooks, but you'll want to look that up when you're dealing with your decorations too, because the hook system, when you go into edit mode, the hooks are where you can place things. So it's not free placement like you do have in some games. It is hook based, and there's pros and cons to that. The cons is it's not free based, but the pros are no matter where you place things, it still ends up looking like something that fits in the game to some degree. Instead of like, you know, a big stack of things in the shape of a dong or whatever you might, the case might be.
I was wondering what your example was going to be there.
Well, that's where everybody goes. Like WildStar, you can place
Right.
whatever you want. So it's
Right.
wangs all over the place. That's what happens. That's what you get when you get free placement. You get a bunch of
Yep.
wangs. But as you place decorations on you can change the arrangement of how each of these pads look when you go to the layouts button on your edit mode tab. And as you place items or decorations or NPCs, there's a whole bunch of opportunity in doing that to rotate them or slide them around, and potentially even be overlapping decorations to create sort of a new simulated look for different things. So experiment with that to some degree too, if you're into that. Any other tips and tricks that you wanted to throw out there, Seema, before we wrap it up?
Just if you have a decoration that you really like and you want to refer back to it, make a mental note or maybe even a real note about what type it is so you can easily find it again. Because like so many things in SWTOR, there isn't a search function. So you just kind of have to know where something is. And with hundreds, possibly even thousands at this point, decorations available, learning to navigate the interface and find what you're looking for is a major skill.
Yes. Yes. So when you go into that edit mode and you're looking through your decorations, you'll see a category and a subcategory. Those category and subcategories only apply to the set of decorations for the kind of hook that you're currently clicking on. If you're going, I have a large floor hook. So I have a lot more lights than this, but it's only showing me the few that fit in a large floor hook. So it can be really frustrating to try to find what is that dang light that I have and why can't I find it again?
That is another tip I have, which is if you look at you can look at your decorations via the Stronghold menu. Just if you click on the upper menu on your screen, then go Strongholds, and then on the left, if you click on Personal, you can look at all your decorations.
Yeah, that's probably better.
No matter what kind of
hook you're looking at.
Hook you might have highlighted, yeah.
You can filter a little bit, like the ones that you have available versus the ones you have unlocked and that kind of thing, which helps a little bit too.
Right. That is helpful. That is helpful. At least they don't ask you if you want to put them in order by quantity.
Yes. Let's see, any final tips from me? You can duel in your Stronghold. And in fact, I have been, there's some PvP events that various community influencers and other guilds have held where on Nar Shaddaa in particular is a really good place. On the ship pad on Nar Shaddaa, you can arrange certain decorations that act as walls where you lose line of sight, and you can arrange a little PvP arena. And then you can duel someone in your little PvP arena, and you can have a little PvP tournament. That is a really cool, fun thing to do with a Stronghold. So that's something you can check out as well. And I think that is it. We have had quite a bit to talk about. Another long show. Forgot how much I like Strongholds and decorating them. Look here, you probably saw this at the beginning, but this is another active decoration. If I click on my little,
did. I keep playing with it.
Yeah, my fireworks display. I've got a whole stack of these little fireworks displays. I could light up the sky with fireworks, which is cool. All right, so I think with that we are ready to head on out. So our EPC 194 droid will get his Stronghold of closet-sized escape pod and decorate that with the 2 posters that will get it to 100%. But
he doesn't need as many posters. That's true.
That's just what he'll have to do to get this broadcast out to all of you, and we appreciate that, buddy. So thanks to all of you for joining us on Overlords.com, on iTunes, on YouTube, or live here on Twitch. We will stream again next Tuesday night if it doesn't get moved due to work travel next week, which it might. But we'll stream when we do on twitch.tv/New Overlords around 10:30 p.m. Central. Please follow us on Twitter at MaxTheGray and at AIESEMA. Please subscribe on YouTube. And certainly, and most importantly, come find us on Jedi Covenant and ask us for an AIE Guild invite, because we would love to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.